Is it like, is there a switch or something?
It was a red light on.
Check, check, check.
Did she push it all the way in?
I did have it in because when I tested before I plugged it in,
right?
It was working.
It's always
Is it working now? Is it working now? I think it's working now.
Let's see.
Has changed to microphone blue snowball and will now be used.
Test, test, test.
Hello, hello, hello.
Welcome
Okay,
to
there
the
we
ring,
go.
everybody.
There
I'm
we go.
Marshall Almighty. It's the Elevated Thoughts.
Test,
Kyle Robertson with Supreme Lending.
Yes, there we go. I'm trying to look at his stuff right now.
That's all right.
Oh, look at you. You trying to get it on Facebook? Okay, let me go over here live.
My mama watching us on Facebook right now.
Oh, is she?
Hey, Mom.
She watching.
Hi, beautiful queen. We're so glad that you're joining us right now. We're trying to get everything. This is what happens when you have two podcasters collaborating together, okay? We got cameras over here we got to get set. Got cameras over here we got to get up set up. So we appreciate you all for tuning in. I'm waiting on YouTube to pick us up. Facebook was waiting to pick us up. So as soon as everything picks up on this side, we're going to start talking, okay? Because it's not, you know, I played music and Facebook does not like my music playing. So they beeps out the music. So I'd rather just not play some music. How about that?
Yep. Keep it quiet. Let's just elevate today.
Yes.
So we technical difficulties like a mug, but hey, we keeping it going.
Yeah, it's still trying to latch on and go live, you guys. Give me just a few moments. I apologize.
If you have any questions, QT&As, questions that need answering for you slowpokes, please have them ready. You see, I got my pen and my paper ready so I can take notes. I don't know everything, but I know some people that know some people.
And definitely put your questions in the inbox. I have an Instagram on here. Sam's got his. I have YouTube and Facebook coming up in just a few moments as soon as I can.
See who's watching, y'all. I'm going to show y'all. I'm going to celebrate y'all. Thank you very much. Let me Peaches Weber for liking the video.
Hey, how are you doing?
We got 6 people in this mug.
What is going on? Why is it taking so long for everything to come up?
Because they know that we live.
I mean, dang.
How's everybody doing? Y'all quarantining all right?
Right. Come on. Connect.
I'm scrolling Facebook. Do they fact check Pornhub? Just asking for a friend.
Let me turn my phone off. The ringer is off because my goodness, somebody wants to call every time they know I'm live at 2:00 on Thursdays.
And that's why I had to tell my mom. I was like, Mom, can you just show up because you call me every time I'm live. I love for you to just tune in and watch what your baby doing out here.
Come on and reload. We may just have to go live off the cuff and let it catch up because it's already recording.
Well, I'm gonna keep sharing this video to a few people then while we
Yes, please share, because now's the time. We're gonna have some nuggets from your real estate agent here. I do have my lender here. We have a beautiful home that we're sitting in from D.R. Horton that we're going to be able to give you a tour to plant the seed of home ownership. And what better way than a brand new home? If you like the smell of a good, fresh, clean car, you're gonna love the smell of a fresh new home. So I hope that you got your notebooks ready, your pen, paper handy. Oh man, where is my Facebook? Why is it taking you so long to get logged in over here? Stay on the page, refresh it. Come on.
I went live for my Instagram to see how many people I can jump in over here. Kind of double up.
Yes, it is still.
I don't have the
Instagram. I appreciate you all's patience, and everyone on Elevated Thoughts. I appreciate your patience. Now it's my computer that don't want to latch on. I think because I got too many stuff. But I do this every morning. Is get on live, but I am going live from my cell phone as a hotspot. So I'm wondering if that's the problem.
It might be. Let me get
okay, so I'm live on YouTube. Thank you, YouTubers. Stay tuned. I'm waiting on Facebook to get logged in. Of course, we're dealing with good old technology. Your connection is unstable. Please wait while reconnecting. Okay, I'll tell you what. Let me just end that stream there on YouTube, and I'll just upload it here in a moment. Come on, Facebook. So that way I can at least go live, get some people with some questions. I'm gonna leave that page and come back to it. Maybe it'll allow me to. So that's how I know you own some stuff. Because it came right back to the page. I left off of it and came right back to it.
How's everybody doing? We good, man. I'm great. It's thankful Thursday. I'm thankful for patience. You feel me? Like
right. Because I'm about to lose mine. I'm about to now look her. I need you to come on. We're supposed to be live 15 minutes ago.
Hey, we good. We good. We got a few people here. I know that they're gonna be very educated.
Oh, absolutely.
After we get everything up and going.
Just breathe.
That's life.
Just breathe. Just breathe. Allow. Okay. All right. But I need you to come over here.
Thank you, Karen Donaldson, for liking the video. Please share this. We'll definitely
Kyle Roberts.
answer any questions you may have when it comes to home ownership.
S-O-N.
Have
Come
your
on, where you
questions
at? Right
ready.
there. Come on.
Let me see if they're gonna let me do it all.
At Supreme Lending. Pastor Crystal, I'm doing my live right now, sis. I'll call you back.
We got 3 shares. Thank everyone who shared.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Thank you, everyone that is sharing the video already. We're live on Facebook. About time. Thank you, Jesus. Woo. I tell you, just a little prayer, just a little patience sometimes helps carry a long ways. All right. So welcome you guys. Thank you for tuning in. We have long been overdue now. So we are here and I'm here with special guests. This is what happens when 2 podcasters collaborate on one channel. Okay, so we got the podcast over here on What Elevated Thoughts. Thank you guys so much. We're going to address you first, and then of course everyone on my Facebook feed and on my YouTube and or on my Instagram and on my Facebook. I wanted to make sure I tune you guys in. I wanted to make sure I wasn't missing something there. I thought maybe somebody already had some questions. So we got it recording. Thank you. We are now officially live and we're going to go ahead and get started. We have an hour to give you as much information as we possibly can. And I have to elevate a couple of clients or buyers that is on my Sunni's Neighborhood Jam sponsor spotlighters. And so let's dive on in this thing. I am Sunni Pouncil. This is Neighborhood Jams with Sunni Pouncil. I'm your local real estate agent. I'm by far a different type of real estate agent, if you will. I've done 5 years in this man's seat as a loan officer, having money to the people, but now I'm putting keys in people's hands. And so I've done that now for 6 years. And I'm passionate about it. I am currently on the education platform with Community Action and Neighborhood Housing Services. And Neighborhood Housing Services, as I had my committee board meeting with them yesterday, down payment assistance funds are still available. So if you're interested in purchasing a home, now's the time to kind of get in where you fit in and get your down payment assistance, okay? Also want to share with you, Neighborhood Housing Services also has down payment assistance, and they're doing virtual classes for those of you that are in the state of Oklahoma and would like to understand the complete process from beginning to end. But for today, we're bringing this live to you at your front door. So that way you don't have to get up, you don't have to move. You can sit back, have your drink, your coffee, whatever gives your pleasure. And that way you can go ahead and get this information. So Neighborhood Jams came about 2019, January 1, 2019, after I've completed 2 years of trying to get my real estate business off the ground, right? And so I took on to the education platform for 3 years. And so since I took that as a passion and I started seeing the light bulb of people's thoughts come on, meaning that they're understanding how to buy a home and get qualified for a home, I figured I'd start the podcast. And it was led by the direction of the good Lord up above. So I thank him for that. So over the last year, 2019, I grew the viewers over to 4,000 viewers and even had someone from Ghana, Africa reach out to me. So I was pretty excited about that. So January 1, 2020 launched me to go ahead and take it on to the actual next network, which is on YouTube and Instagram. So now that I figured out how to go live on Instagram, you guys want to start getting it now. So thank you. But I have partnered up. God is good, you guys. I've been doing this daily devotion of motivation, of being obedience to God, right? Because when you're obedient, you get abundance and you get the successful that you need. And so it came to me and I asked God, what can I do during this pandemic? And it was to share your daily devotion on your podcast, on your live podcast that was, right? And so I sat on it for 3 weeks, ended up starting it. Today was day 30. Can I tell you in the 30 days that I was being obedient, he has opened a door to me to call a business that's called The Kickback. The Kickback is a network that's made up of 3 divisions. It's a television network, it's a radio station, and it's an e-commerce for Black businesses to place their business for free, advertise for free, okay? And so what has happened is since I've joined The Kickback for almost 3 years now, my podcast is reaching Botswana, Africa, Trinidad, Canada, UK. Come on, you guys. Now, at this point, after tomorrow, I have to brand myself internationally because now I'm international, right? And so these podcasts are something that's very informative to you guys. So shout out to all of you that is across the country supporting Neighborhood Jams with Sunni Pouncil. Okay, I appreciate you guys. Because come Saturday, this podcast that's airing right now will replay a premiere on this Saturday at 11 a.m. on The Kickback. So that's why I want to make sure that 2 podcasts is collaborating. And can I share with you guys? I can't just keep the love to myself. I can't do that. So I'm sharing the love with this gentleman behind me, Mr. Sam Archer. And so Elevated Thoughts is now partnered up with The Kickback and will also now be aired on The Kickback Network. So I'm super excited to have Sam, and all his 3 contents from the 3 podcasts that he has will now be on The Kickback, and he too needs to be prepared to go international. So we're going to speak that thing in existence, Mama. You with me, Mama? You with me, Mama?
Yep,
we're going to keep that in prayer.
We got 7 people. Thank y'all very much for tuning in. Y'all.
Yes, we can't see you guys, although I know he can. I can see you on my Instagram, but I can't see you on my Facebook. But I want to make sure that we get you guys some information. So today is it's the 4th Thursday of every month that allows me to talk to you guys, the community, on educating on the platform of home ownership. So today is real estate tips. But first, I have to do the first podcast, which is with Elevated Thoughts, because this is his first podcast on the network. So, Mr. Sam, I'm going to turn that microphone over to you.
Thank y'all so very much. Thank you very much, Sunni Pouncil, for the freaking grand welcome. Thank y'all very much. Neighborhood Jams. I told y'all, just tune in. I got a lot of connections. So we are here today. We about to talk about some home ownership. You know?
Yes.
So, hey, I'm going to just turn it back. I'm just excited for everybody, my Kenna fam that's tuned in. That, yes, it's true. Elevated Thoughts, cultivation and compliance when it comes to growing medical marijuana from seed to smoke, that has got picked up as well. So Raymond Storm, your videos will be on the network.
Awesome.
That's why I was trying to talk to you, as well as Slay and Chill, where we talk sports, life, and art, all while we chill. So
awesome.
All 3. I'm excited.
So we're glad to have those 3 podcasts on the network. So make sure you stay tuned. Support the network. Support the LinkedIn, the Kickback. We'll share the links. If you're on my Facebook and YouTube, you already have the links. It's there. I have to put it in my Instagram. But definitely make sure you have the links to where you can catch this replay. So if you missed something and you can't go back and catch it, you can catch the replay on this Saturday at 11. So we're going to go ahead and dive on in. So I'm grateful to have Elevated Thoughts with me, because it's always great to have some elevated thoughts, especially when you're in home ownership, right? So if you're in home ownership, this is now the time. We're getting post-COVID. And so we're coming out, we're starting to talk to buyers and sellers, which, by the way, this business, real estate, was very essential, wouldn't you say? It was very essential. So we were still working and putting people in homes while people were shut in. So people still have a place to stay. So let's talk about it. I have my good friend, Kyle Robertson from Supreme Lending, who is also one of the preferred lenders that I personally use. He is also a preferred lender for D.R. Horton, which is a builder, new builder whose home we're in right now. So again, stay tuned. I'm going to give you a tour of this beautiful home and plant the seeds. So if you don't have any questions, let me start off with this. You're wanting to purchase a home but don't know what to do. Well, first thing you need to consider is credit. Would you agree, Kyle?
Absolutely.
So in credit, we have several different lenders that have certain different guidelines, but today we're going to use the guidelines from Supreme Lending. So what is an actual credit score to get qualified for a home, Kyle?
So right now, minimum credit scores to qualify vary from one program to the next, and then can sometimes even vary from one lender to the next. Typically speaking, if you just go off of just kind of what most people would call the industry standard numbers, minimum credit score to qualify for a VA loan or an FHA loan is going to be anywhere from as low as 620 to as high as about 680. For us, it's a 640, but there is some kind of fluctuation in what most lenders would call minimum credit scores right now just because of COVID. What happened is when the virus happened and people started losing their jobs, that increases mortgage defaults. Mm-hmm. And as mortgage defaults go up, then lenders tighten guidelines to make it less likely that there are more mortgage defaults. So if you hear a minimum credit score from one lender and you think that you've got other people telling you should still be able to qualify and your lender's telling you can't, then it's not out of the question that you might want to call another lender or call your bank or call me at Supreme Lending and let us put together a loan profile for you and see if what you look like today is something that would fit within our box of what we lend on.
So basically, you have to have a 620 credit score for your lending institution, correct?
Right now, I was kind of given the
variation. Okay.
Right now, for us, for VA and FHA is a 640 credit score. For a conventional loan, the minimum credit score is a 620 credit score. But that's a little bit deceiving because conventional loans are a little bit harder to qualify for. So they do have lower credit score standards, but they have tighter guidelines. So typically speaking, you'd probably want to see a 660, 670, 680 credit score before you'd start looking at a conventional loan as an option. Mm-hmm. And then generally speaking, most of the government loans, whether it be FHA, VA, HUD 184, USDA, most of them are going to have the minimum credit score of about a 640.
Okay. And I do know there are some lenders that will even go down to a 580.
Yeah,
but you do have to have a lot more to put down. So just be mindful of that.
Our guidelines for FHA, we did go down to 580, but when the coronavirus happened and the guidelines tightened up, we raised our minimum FHA score from a 580 to a 640. They will all eventually, at some point when this all settles down, everyone will eventually loosen and go back down to what they were prior to.
Okay. And that's good information to know. So if you tuned in last Thursday, we had Jonathan Robinson here, who was giving some Get Your Credit Sunny Side Up. And so he gave some grateful tips there. So make sure you understand. And again, if you have questions, put them in the chat box. We're addressing questions right now. So don't delay. If you have a question for a real estate agent, myself, you have a question for the lender, now's the time to get your questions answered. Let's answer those questions while we have this full hour here. And so once you've got your credit, make sure you take a look at your credit. You can get a copy of your free credit from freecreditreport.com. And that way you can take a look at your report. And if not, you can always give Kyle a call and reach out to Kyle and he can take a look at your credit. And do you have services where if their credit scores needs to be increased, you have programs that will work with the buyers that can increase it?
I actually, not to give a shout out to just a random person out of nowhere, but I've used Becky Estep with Credit Coach.
She's awesome too.
She's a local credit repair person.
She's
not
awesome
a big fan of the national companies. Tend to be a little bit more telemarketing than actual credit repair.
Right.
Becky does a great job, and that's who I've referred people to Becky for years and years and years, and always seen good success.
And shout out to Becky Estep. Love her. She is a beautiful queen. So awesome. And then, yes, you definitely, when you're working on your credit, get with someone here local. It's tough to work with someone across the states to where you can't get service. You can't go to their office and get your questions answered. Mm-hmm. Definitely working with a local lender and a local credit person is always key. You definitely want to keep it in-house.
Don't take credit repair advice from friends, neighbors, family members, or somebody that bought a house 2 years ago because they think they know it. Talk to a credit repair person.
Get with an expert. Yes. Get with the expert. I agree, Kyle. Because, I mean, you can't use, everyone's situation is totally different. So what may go for you may not go for them. Okay. That's great point in casing. And so after you've taken a look at your credit scores, there's 3 credit reports. They take the middle of the 3, regardless of what order it's in. And that's what we're talking about, that you need to have a 640. So if you have not reviewed your credit score, please go and take a look at that and get that information. If you need some help, reach out, as we're saying, reach out to a credit person. Now, after you've got your credit straight and you know what your finances are, you want to save about $2,000 for here in Oklahoma. And now we are talking about all across the states and across the country. So get with your prospective real estate agent in your state to make sure you understand what amount you need to have. And so what do I mean by $2,000? You got to have some skin in the game. When you come to this guy here or any lender, they want to know that you have some skin in the game, and skin is your own cash, right? Not cash that you borrow from grandma, mom, or uncle, or dad. No, they want your own money that you would put your hard sweat work for, okay? And so at that point, I always tell my clients to have $2,000, because $500 off the top goes to a house on a contract. We call it earnest money, right? It goes down and put down a deposit, kind of like a deposit on an apartment, but a deposit for the house, right? You got to show that seller that you are actually interested in buying their property, right? And so usually at that point, after I've talked to you from a first initial consult, and I'll tell you, I'm your real estate agent that's there for you from the beginning all the way to the end, okay? After closing and everything, I still talk to my clients for the last 6 years at random different times. But when you're going to a lender, they're giving you or loaning you based on your qualifications. They're qualifying you based on your credit and your income, and that produces a loan amount. And so talk to us a little bit about that, Kyle.
So the way we determine what you qualify for, obviously we're going to take a full loan application. Whether you have qualifying credit scores or not, we're going to take a full loan application, and we're going to treat you as if you are buying a house tomorrow. Whether you can buy one or can't buy one, we need to put together a whole loan file so that we know that if there are credit score issues, what we don't want to do is just address the credit score issues. We want to address the credit score issues, but we also want to have confidence that once that those score issues are addressed and you've got your scores up, that we were working towards a purchase price that you were shooting for. So generally speaking, you're going to take a complete loan application. We're going to ask you information about where you work, how long you've been there, how much you make, how do you make it? Is it base salary? Is it overtime? Is it bonuses? Is it commissions? Get a real crystal clear picture of how you get paid and when you get paid. And then there's some certain percentages that we're going to go off of for what you qualify. And generally speaking, you would want to qualify for your mortgage payment based on anywhere from about 20 to 30% of your gross monthly income. You'll hear different numbers and different higher numbers. The term that they use is called debt to income ratio. There's 2 different debt to income ratios. There's what's called your front end debt to income ratio, which is your mortgage payment divided by your gross monthly income. That number is the one that should be about 20 or 30%. And then there's the number called your back end debt to income ratio, which is your new mortgage payment plus all of the other monthly payments listed on your credit report. I'm not talking about cell phone bills and water bills and electric bills, because those things don't appear on your credit report. I'm talking about your car loans and your credit cards and your student loans. So the monthly payments listed on your credit report plus your new mortgage payment divided by your gross monthly income. And that's how they come up with the back end debt to income ratio. So really the 3 most important numbers in qualifying to buy a house, number 1 is your credit score. Number 2 is your front end debt to income ratio, your gross monthly divided by your mortgage payment. And then your back end debt ratio, which is your gross monthly divided by your mortgage payment plus the payments listed on your credit report.
That's great information. Great information. And so I'm going to jump in at this point and talk to him as far as a buyer. If I have a qualified buyer, I'm going to send you directly to Kyle. Okay. And Kyle at this point will take your qualifications, and like he said, you'll fill out the application, do all the credit stuff. And then after he pushes out a approval amount, if that comes in after you've reviewed their application, is that correct? And so talk to us a little bit about the 3 different loan programs. There's an FHA, there's a conventional, there's a VA. Am I missing one?
Just a few, but I mean, you can kind of bulk the FHA, the VA, the USDA, which this neighborhood wouldn't qualify for USDA. USDA is based on different rural parts of the city. Generally speaking, FHA, VA, and conventional, generally speaking. There's also HUD 184 loans, which is also known as an Indian loan if you're a card carrying tribe member. All of those kind of get pushed into just what are called government loans, but generally speaking, FHA, VA, and conventional.
And FHA is usually the more lenient one,
Yeah.
I would say.
Little bit easier to qualify for. Do allow for a smaller down payment of 3.5% of the purchase price. In the long run, it can be a little bit more of a costly loan program, but the loan program is designed to get lower qualifying buyers into homes. And as long as the lender's doing good due diligence and getting you into a home that you can afford, then eventually you either pay that loan off or maybe even refinance it into a conventional loan once your credit scores have gone up. What I've always been told by different credit repair people, especially Becky, is if you can just get into the home based on that minimum criteria, and let's say it's a 640 credit score, generally speaking, after just having a mortgage on your credit report and paying on that mortgage for 3 or 4 months, generally speaking, as long as you also haven't ran up credit card debt over here,
right,
you should have a 30 or 40 point increase in your credit scores just from having a mortgage on your credit report.
Now,
so it's just getting to that point of what do I have to do to buy? And then once I've bought, as long as I take care of my business correctly, my scores are going to jump up like they should.
And that's good information to know. And I'll add to that, is that almost like having a higher credit limit? So the higher your credit limit, the better your scores are also?
Yeah. Because the higher your credit scores are, the different, like, I mean, if you just take credit card companies, for example, they're going to base how much they're going to lend you or your line of credit that they're going to give you. They're going to base that maximum line of credit based on your credit score.
Gotcha.
So a lot of times people with really, really poor credit, the first advice they're given is go out and get a credit card. Well, the only credit cards that are available to people that have really, really low credit scores is what would be called like a subprime credit card. So it might have a 17 or 18 or 21% interest rate. And it might charge you an annual fee just to have the card, but you've got to have the card. So it's just kind of like paying the price to play the game. Right? You get those 2 or 3 credit cards, you manage them correctly. As you make your payments on time, your credit scores go up, they increase your credit limit. And you always want to have a pretty big difference between your credit limit and what you actually owe the card.
Which is that 20%.
25, 30%. You really want to keep it away from 30. When you're trying to build credits, the most common mistake that people make when they're trying to build credit scores is they get a credit card, they buy something, and they pay it off. And you need to keep a very small balance. The credit bureaus need to see that small balance continuously reporting with you being disciplined to make your monthly payments on time. And by having that small balance report is one of the biggest factors in getting your credit scores to come up.
And I can contest to that, guys. I've been working on my credit score since November. Don't ask me why it took me 5-6 years to get it together. I guess it just hit me at that point of, okay, you got to be sick and tired being told no is a complete answer, and it's completely valid. No, you can't get a credit card. No, you can't apply for this, and no, you're not going to get approved for that. I got tired of that. And so I did something. I went to MidFirst Bank and started out a small credit card, and using that credit card I put $300 in it. So it might be one of those credit cards you're talking about. And I charged on it, paid off, charged on it, paid off, charged on it, paid off. And now my credit score started at a 600 and it's at a 665 just from starting from November to now. So still keep working on it. But you can do it too. That's what I want to encourage you. That's why I do these lives, because I want to be myself as a guinea pig so that you can see you can do it too.
We got a couple of comments.
Oh, what's the comments?
We have Gerald Smiley from Seattle. He says, amen. Then use your equity to go buy more homes, not wrap your car loans and buy unnecessary things. Pay weekly also. Mortgage companies will pay for your down payment too if you're a first-time homeowner.
Yes.
Take their online class as well to buy down your interest rate as well. You make double payments each month to kill the interest.
And that's something some people didn't know too, Kyle, that I would like to mention on is buy down your interest rate. People didn't know that you can actually buy down your interest rate, but you got to pay for it. So if you're going to ask to buy down your interest rate, so interest rate right now is about what?
Depending on credit score, I mean, it would just be an easy number for me to say that a typical rate right now is about 3.5%.
So that's not bad.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you took a 3.5% on a $200,000 house, that probably is going to be somewhere around $1,400, right? Maybe a little over 15. But if you bought that rate down to 2% or 2.5, just one base point, that one base point could cost about what, $3,000?
Depending on the loan amount, that can get pretty expensive.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, when people buy the rate down, they're not buying down a full point. They're buying down 0.125 or 0.25. So if your lender says, well, the going rate right now is 3.5, generally speaking, when, and it doesn't actually happen all that often, but when somebody does spend the money to buy the rate down, they're buying it down from 3.5 to 3.375 or 3.5 to 3.25. The dollar amount to go from 3.5 to 2.5
is ridiculous.
Like, it's, number one, it's ridiculous. Number two, most lenders can't charge it because there's rules that have been put in place since the subprime mortgage industry collapsed. And when fees become too exorbitant on a loan, it's considered a high cost loan.
Gotcha.
And the lender may have every intention in letting you pay those kind of discount points to buy the rate down, but the guidelines in place won't allow it.
Gotcha.
Just because it just becomes too expensive of a loan.
Gotcha.
And I don't mean literally the government, like they're watching your loans.
Right.
The government doesn't want to see you spending that kind of money on a mortgage, but just because you're never going to recoup that cost.
Gotcha.
So when they buy the rate down, it might be 0.125, it might be a quarter, somewhere around there.
But not a full 1%.
That can get pretty costly. That's pretty expensive.
Ball.
If you got the money,
that's
you
some
know.
big money.
And
I don't have that kind of
money.
money.
I don't either.
Yeah.
But well, let me say this.
Exactly.
Let me say this, because it's a mindset. I don't have the spending cash yet.
Yeah, there you go.
You got that? You got that? Quit saying you broke. Quit saying I ain't got it. You got it. You just don't have it right now, right? Question.
It says, do you recommend say hello?
A HELOC. Do you recommend a HELOC or a construction loan? Now, HELOC is which is great because that's for sellers. And so that's a selling tip that I would love Kyle to talk about, because only he can deal with sellers when it comes to refinancing using HELOCs and things of that nature. So I'll let you speak on that, Kyle.
So, I mean, there's different things that HELOCs are used for. You can use a HELOC it's a home equity line of credit. So
thank you.
to simplify it, a HELOC or a home equity line of credit is no different than a credit card, right? If I buy my house for $100,000 and let's say my house is worth $200,000, then in theory I could get a $100,000 line of credit because that's the equity that's in my home. And I can buy things and pay it back and it's going to behave just like a credit card. So one of the guys, or one of the comments was about don't go buy cars with it. Yeah. So let's just go with that. I'm just going to run with that just to help paint the picture. People that do have tons of equity in their houses, maybe they've bought I'm just going to make up a scenario. You've bought $1 million house for cash, and then you go to your banker and you say, hey, I want to take out a home equity line of credit. And I want to take that home equity line of credit for $100,000 or $200,000 or whatever that line of credit is. But you can only do that when you have a whole bunch of equity built up. Okay. So I bought a big old house. I bought it for cash. I'm going to take out a home equity line of credit. And if I don't use that line of credit, so they've given me again, I'm going to use the term credit card. They've given me the credit card with a $200,000 line of credit. Okay. If I don't go out and buy something with that line of credit, then I don't have a payment that I have to pay because I don't owe my line of credit anything. Okay.
Gotcha.
So if I have a $200,000 line of credit and I go out and buy a $100,000 house, then the payment that I make on my line of credit is only based on the $100,000 that I've borrowed from it.
Right.
Not the $200,000 line of credit because I'm not using it all.
Gotcha.
Line of credits are harder to qualify for. Generally speaking, you've got to have a bunch of equity built up in your home. 10 years ago, people would buy houses. They'd get a first mortgage, and then they'd get a second mortgage, and they'd get an 80% first mortgage and a 20% line of credit, and that was considered 100% financing. those don't exist anymore. The mortgage crash in 2008 got rid of lines of credit to purchase homes. But yes, a line of credit is a great tool. Just get good advice, have a good accountant so somebody's advising you the right way to use it, because charging things on a line of credit and treating your house like a credit card can sometimes be a little bit of a dangerous game to play.
And wouldn't that be like income if they didn't spend it, or if they did spend it, it was like income that they got? Is that why we're needing to talk to an accountant or a tax person?
No, it's just, no, it's not going to count as income at all. I just say talk to a CPA or an accountant or something like that, only because of the tax consequences of when you borrow from it. You know, is any portion of that what you've borrowed tax deductible, or what you're paying into it tax deductible for the interest because it's associated with your home.
Okay.
But just anytime you're getting into those kinds of financial tools, you need to be talking with someone other than your banker or your mortgage person.
Got a great question.
Got another question.
Gerald Smiley says, question, any multifamily properties there in Oklahoma they recommend I take a real look at? That's a good investment and profit generator. I got $200K in equity, no income.
So he's got how many investment properties here?
He says, question, do you specialize in 1031 tax exchange?
1031.
1031. Okay. Well, 1031s are, that's another line of a loan or another, it's a house that has tax credits to it that you can use.
Rolling the proceeds from one house into the next.
Yes.
So that you're not taking tax hit on the proceeds.
Most of them do have that opportunity to do it. So it just depends on the seller and it depends on the lender that you're using. So yes, there are 1031s that are available. Investment properties, most people may say or think that they can't buy an investment property if you don't have a homeowner's, your home first. Checking with several different lenders, and I mean, you could probably answer this as well, is that some people will say, well, I don't own a home. Can I buy investment property first? Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely you can.
Absolutely you can. Buy your first investment property. Can I drop you a nugget? Try to consider purchasing a duplex where you bought one side and you stay in it and then rent out the other side. Now you're talking about creating a cash flow. The light bulb comes on. So this is what I'm talking. This is what I love. So
he says 1031 tax exchange is rolling proceeds over to the next property without taxes.
From one house to the next.
That could be done.
The title company helps you get that paperwork and get it all squared away so that it's all done correctly. There's companies that like help them with the 1031 exchanges so it's done correct. We're actually closing on one this week.
So they can be done. Now, that was a great question. Thank you. If you have any other questions, please ask. I guess I fill my people up so much with information on my Facebook and YouTube. They ain't got no questions. They ain't got no questions. This is all coming from Elevated Thoughts. But y'all go ahead. Y'all ask your questions. This is some things that I want to make sure you're aware of. Follow me on Neighborhood Gems with Sunni Pouncil. I'll give you tons of information. Tons.
Support.
So as far as buyers, have that $2,000 set aside when you're ready to purchase your home, right? So that way you can be ready to have some skin in the game and have some buying power. Next, get with the lender that gets you qualified, right? Once you get qualified, you get a pre-approval letter, then he sends you back to me. And then we get together with your pre-approval letter and we get out and go shopping for houses, investment properties, whatever the case may be that you're qualified for. When it comes to finding the house, I work with him like hand in glove, because I need to run the numbers to him to make sure you're qualified to pay for it, right? Because you may feel one way, but he's looking at it from his eyes, a lending standpoint eyes, okay? So for an example, you're qualified to buy a $150,000 house, but now you want to come out here and come buy a $170,000 house. I have people that do that. They do that first. They want to go out and look at houses first and then come get qualified. That's why I'm trying to educate you right now. Go secure the money bag first. When you know how much you can spend, then you can go spend your money, right? That's like going to the mall. You're not going to the mall if you're not spending no more than $100. We ain't going over, baby. If I go over, we leave the mall. So this is the same thing with buying a house and buying a car. Once you get pre-qualified, you're ready to go. Now, like I said, I talk to him hand in glove. So when I get the contract, Kyle, this is the contract. These are the numbers. What do I need to be asking the seller to contribute towards as far as closing costs? That's where this information comes hand in hand. And I communicate with him like it's no man's business. I can call him, and it's great to have a lender that is flexible even after hours. So Kyle is one of those I can contest. I've called him on a Sunday afternoon for a buyer, and he was available with questions. I've called him a couple of times, and he was out of state, and he still answered my questions. So when you're working with people like that, you want to have somebody that's flexible but you need to be flexible too. So was there a question?
Yes, we do get a question.
Roll them out. Let's go.
My bad. Just to give y'all feedback, Gerald Smiley is former Texas Ranger. Gerald Smiley, that's the one that has the questions. He says,
"Hey, Gerald."
He says, any properties there that they know about, looking for 8plex or higher. I want to rent them out to people who get out of prison. Money bag is secured. I need to know if y'all got properties. No game or LOL. Ask seller for closing costs.
So it just depends on your location and the properties that you find. Right now, we can come across, I've seen just yesterday looking to search for another buyer, how there are a group of homes. So one seller or one investor may be dumping all his investment properties because he's trying to get out. He's done with the rental business. He's done with trying to keep up the maintenance. He's done with all of this. And so if that is something that you're interested in, Gerald, get in contact with me. You can call me at 405-201. 4241. You can also find me on Facebook, Your Unique Home. The letter U, the letter R, Unique Home. Okay? Inbox me. Let me see how I can work with you. And then get you with the lender that can get your, if you already got the money, I just need to find your locations for you based on the numbers that you got pre-qualified. That's what I need. Once you give me that, oh, bro, gas the tank up. We out. Just like that. We're going to get out looking for the properties. So, we want to make sure that you understand that once you pay that $500, you have an inspection process. Each home, we want to encourage you to get your home inspected. You want to make sure that what you're buying is not a dud. And I'll tell you this, when you go to get your appraisal done, your lender is going to make sure that the house has a value also. So you pay the lender directly for your appraisal costs. You'll pay the inspector for their costs, okay? And so we're probably about $1,800 to $2,000 with just those 3 deals right there, right? And so we pretty much want to make sure that you understand that. And then, of course, once we get with the lender, he gets everything qualified. He's the one that holds it. He's the one that has the final say, and he has to wait for the underwriters. So let me make sure you understand. It's not him that's holding it up. He has a team of underwriters who actually review all your documents, okay? And they're at their certain corporate office level. And at that point, the underwriter can say, all documents have cleared, we're ready to close. Closing could be anywhere from 30 to 45 days, okay? Now, what information can we sell for the sellers? Now's a good time to refinance, is it not?
It is. If you know, a lot of people would say that window is slowly closing up. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of the down payment assistance programs have higher interest rates. So generally speaking, you know, I mean, we've got several people that closed on homes 1 and 2 years ago. Down payment assistance rate was, you know, just making up a number, I want to say was probably at somewhere between 5.5% and 6%. 2 years have gone by. They've been making their payments. They've got a little bit of equity built up into their home. Today, interest rates are in the mid 3s. They can refinance that 5.5 into say a 3.5 or maybe even high 3s, but it's still going to save them thousands and thousands of dollars over the life of the loan.
So if you're currently a homeowner and your interest rate is above 3.5%, you need to be reaching out to Kyle Roberson at Supreme Lending, get your mortgage refinanced and get kind of where we're close to the market now for the interest rate of 3.5% and save thousands of dollars each month. I agree.
General rule of thumb on refinancing is you need to lower your rate at least 0.5%, and you need to be committed to stay in your house for at least 5 years.
After that refinance?
Because that's about how much time it's going to take to recoup the cost from the refinance because of all the closing costs and everything that goes associated with redoing your mortgage. Gotcha.
And then get with me also if you're a seller, you want to know what an estimate costs to sell your home, okay? We have several different resources that we can pull to actually check that out for you. We're going to take a quick break here. I know we're currently probably getting close to our hour mark. Well, we're at 36 minutes. I thought we were close to our hour. It seems like an hour.
Right.
We kind of had a small 15-minute delay, but I know that Kyle has an appointment that he's got to get to at 4 o'clock. I don't want to make him late. So if you have any more lending questions, please, please, please get them inboxed right now while I take this small break and go over here to my my sponsor spotlighters for those that are on my Facebook and YouTube page. And so sponsor spotlighters, and I'll go ahead and just take that at this moment. My sponsored Neighborhood Jam sponsor spotlighters are business owners that are wanting to get exposure without the costs. Does that make sense? So it generally charges them $25 a month where they can get the exposure on my podcast. And so if you have a business and you don't want to pay for that high radio spot or television spot, come right on over here. I'm going to show you some love for 60 seconds. And so I do want to show my first sponsor spotlighter is with Miss Nicole Lashana. She is an insurance agent out of Narissa Berry Insurance Agency. She's giving away free home and auto and commercial quotes. Right now, because of the pandemic, I've been told from her that the insurance quotes for commercial is running about 2 weeks. So if you have a commercial business with the COVID-19, it is running a little lag. So make sure that you get in contact with Narissa Berry Insurance Agency and contact Nicole Lashana Wright. And so why choose us? Multiple insurance companies, flexible payment plans, same day service with discounted general rates. Call today for your free quote. You can call Nicole at 405-255-9676. Again, that number for Nicole is 405-255-9676. And of course, I always have to give my own self some love because I like to make sure I educate you.
You gotta love yourself, right?
I gotta love myself. So let's find your dream home together. Your unique home waits you, right? And so with 6 years as a licensed realtor, 5 years as a loan officer, 3 years teaching, I feel like I have enough to where I can educate my community on home ownership. So get involved. I can share all my links on the event, the Elevated Thoughts podcast so that you can stay in tune with that. I do have a Linktree account. That way you can see all my links. That's for the podcast, the real estate, keeping in contact with us on the kickback, all of that. But you can reach out to me at 405-201-4241. Always go to my website, youruniquehome.com. Search for your home. Let me know what you found, and let's get you those keys to your unique home. Also, let's make sure we're getting ready and geared up for the Home Sweet Home Owners Expo. Yes, I'm super excited. It was pushed off from the original date of March the 29th. Because of the COVID-19. But now that we're getting post, I talked to the venue last week. They're going to allow us to have it there. It should be good and safe by then. So if you are wanting to come out for the Home Sweet Homeowners Expo, come on out. It's going to be Sunday, August the 2nd from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. It's going to be at the Cole Community Center. For you guys on Elevated Thoughts, that address is 4400 Northwest Expressway, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, 73116. If you are interested, get in contact with me as this is still buying season, right? And I love the fact that I have partnered up with some sponsors. So thank you for my sponsors, Neighborhood Jams with Sunni Pouncil, Your Unique Home, First American Title, the Dangoria team from Cornerstone, Inspecs, Amway, ADT, and Paramount Residential Mortgage Group. We thank you guys as sponsors. The mission for this expo is keeping you and your families in mind. So as I kick off this second annual Homeowners Expo, is geared towards home buyers and sellers. So I will be giving some nuggets there as a speaker. I will have a credit specialist, a credit coach that will be there giving some more credit tips. I have another real estate agent who is savvy in investments. So she'll be there dropping some nuggets about property investments. You don't want to miss this as we are boasting with a roundtable discussion with experts. And I'll also have someone coming to talk to you regarding stocks, bonds, and 401 and how you can use those funds to purchase your property. It's all about sharing and getting love and information. So what do you need to do to get involved and be a Neighborhood Jams sponsor spotlighter? I'm so glad you asked. To be a part of the #1 podcast in the country. Come on, y'all. Internationally getting there. So come on and get your support. It is reaching all over. I was in all over Ghana, Africa last year, so I'm just getting all over Africa. My chance is coming soon to go visit. But if you are a business owner, it gives you exposure. You get 4 mentions out of the month. Each time I'm on a podcast, you will get mentioned for $25. Now, who needs some marketing help? Who needs some exposure? All I need is $25 from you, and I'm going to expose the heck out of you. How about that? And just show you some love and shower on you. So those are my Neighborhood Jam sponsor spotlighters for today. I so appreciate those businesses for tuning in, stepping in, and helping out. And so now we're back.
She beats y'all. Hey, I'm learning like a mug right now. Everybody like, what is he doing? He ain't talking. Nope, I'm taking notes today. You see how I don't have one of these yet. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I'm trying to, hey, welcome to the arena, people.
We're going to get your boy there, trust.
Hey.
If he going to be rolling with my tribe, he going to get there. I'm going to make sure of it because my tribe don't get left behind. I'll leave nobody behind. And so, again, if you have questions for Kyle, how can we reach you?
Anybody can call me on my cell phone. Call me or text me anytime. My cell phone number is 405-888-9368. You can also email my team email account. It's Team Kyle. That's TEAMKYLE @supremelending.com. That's a group email account that any one of 4 or 5 of us can jump in and answer any of your questions quickly.
So he has a team that's responsive.
Yeah.
I talk to a lot of different buyers that I can't get a hold of my lender. And I'll be the first to tell you, if you're telling me you can't get a hold of your lender for 2 or 3 times, we fist the move.
That's the problem.
We get ready to move.
Yeah.
And I'm just being very transparent because when we talking about a 30, 45 day window, 3 days of no communication from your lender is time lost. And we don't have that kind of time to lose. So if you want to get with someone, definitely get with Kyle. He has a team of 5. So there's no reasons why if you call, someone can't get a hold of you or respond to your questions. So make sure you get in contact with Kyle at Supreme Lending. He's actually one of the lenders for this property we're sitting in right now.
Oh.
So if you want to buy this house, you gotta get with Kyle. He's the man with the money. I'm the girl with the keys. And we got the elevated thoughts behind us. And so what's up?
Got another question.
What's your question?
And they was like, is she reading the teleprompter? She good.
Y'all, this is just coming with consistent practice.
Yeah.
I started this podcast January 1, 2019. This is just consistency. And I'm still working on it. So I appreciate the love and support for that. No teleprompter. They can tell you that. I don't have no teleprompter.
Listen,
I even got my notebook closed.
Right. Listen, tell people who have back child support or tax liens what they need to do in order to be a homeowner.
Ooh.
Pay them. I mean,
Literally.
yeah, I mean, you got to get your ducks in a row. You got to take care of business.
My thing is this. I'm just going to be transparent. If you have kids, that was your doing.
Mm-hmm.
Don't penalize your kids because you chose to not strap up or be safe. We family and we grown, and I'm just going to be very transparent with you. So if you have child support, you need to find out what you need to do to get that child support taken care of. Because let me tell you something. You can't buy a house with back paid child support. They won't allow it. They're going to make you pay that off first. So you might as well buckle on up and get it paid for. Yes, I know you may hate her, you may hate him. That's perfectly fine. But at the same time, you are trying to better yourself. So pay the debt. And especially for taxes, let me share something with you. I know someone that had a $20,000 tax lien and called the IRS during this pandemic, and they settled for $100. Wow. Yes. Wow. But she has to pay the next 5 years of any tax that's owed on time. So if she owes $900 for 2021, guess what? She got paid at $900. If she owes $1,000, she's got paid $1,000. Or else they'll reopen up that case and it will become, again, due to be done. So she has 5 years to pay exactly what she's owed. So it helps for you to get with experts. That's why we are in the field for these reasons, whether it's taxes, whether it's mortgage, whether it's real estate, podcasting. We are in this line of business for a reason, and we want you to utilize our expertise, right? You could take the picture yourself, but wouldn't it look more professional if you had a photographer?
Message.
I'm just saying. Pay your child support, pay your taxes, and let's help you get on the road. And let me just be transparent. I have people right now in my database, 600 and growing. Some of them are on 2-year boy plan. But the whole goal is to get you on a game plan. Get a game plan, no matter if it's 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 4 years from now, get a game plan. Get with a lender that's willing to help you and say, hey, this is what you need to work on. This is what you need to do so that you can get qualified, and then go do that. And then stay in contact with me, because that's what I want to do, is keep being that motivator for you, right? You got to have the American dream of having your own home, something for your kids, their kids' kids. You got to have it. Get your skin in the game. And let's just also be transparent. Some people are made to rent. You will never need to be homeowners. You just need to rent. Yeah, if you that one that don't want to fix your house up, you rather wait till it break down and call somebody to come fix it, then you need to be a renter. You need to be a renter. When you're a homeowner, this is big man, big woman problems. This grown man business, as what is his name? Andre 3000 said, this is grown man's business. When you buy a house, this is grown man business for real. Because your AC go out, you got to pay for it. It ain't no calling the landlord.
Couple comments. Kyle seems pretty educated. LOL. She said, wrap it up. Brandon Storm says, I need to hit you up about my taxes. Then we have, how many years of income statements need to be shown if someone owns their own business?
2 years of personal and business tax returns.
And that's for anybody.
Yeah.
2 years. 2 years employment history consistently. Share some about that, because I think a lot of people misunderstand.
A lot of people think you have to have 2 years at the same job, and that's not necessarily true.
Right.
The jobs need to kind of be similar. People change companies all the time. No bank's going to tell you that you can't buy a house just because you haven't worked in the same place for 2 years. The biggest problem of the 2-year thing that comes up a lot is, for example, say I work for a trucking company and I drive a truck for a living for a year and a half, 2 years, 3 years, whatever. And then I figure out how the whole trucking business works. And I decide, you know what, I'm going to buy my own truck, and I'm going to drive my own truck, and I'm going to be a self-employed truck driver. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all that money that you made when you were working for somebody else doesn't count as part of your 2-year income history, because now you don't have somebody writing a paycheck for you. You are self-employed and you are a truck driver. So once you become self-employed as a truck driver, now you have to have 2 years of provable income, bottom line after deductions based on your tax returns, to be able to buy. But, say someone works at 7-Eleven for a year, and then they go work at a grocery store for 2 years, and then they go somewhere else and they're a cashier you're kind of doing the same thing at a bunch of different jobs. So you're not going to be penalized and not be able to buy a house because you haven't kept the same job at the same place for 2 years.
So on Instagram, it's counting me down to 18 seconds. So if it log out, it log out on Instagram. But on my Facebook, I have 50 minutes and I still have 10 minutes left. So let's wrap it up. What you got?
I was just going to say, I got like 3 more minutes on my hour spot over here.
Okay.
Trying to get used to doing an hour for the segments for the kickbacks. Thank you, Amy Brown and Daryl Thomas, Brandon Whitebrook for tuning in. Got a few people over here. Welcome to Elevated Thoughts. And we actually have Sunny. There she is. Look at her.
Yes.
I'm trying to elevate y'all thoughts, man. Help y'all elevate y'all credit so y'all can get into the home of your dream.
So if no other questions, all minds are cleared. I'm gonna hop on here and show this house real quick. So for those of you that are on Elevated Thoughts, he may have to carry the laptop around. I don't know how y'all want to do that, but I'm just to show this house, this beautiful home. It is a 3-bedroom. I'll have my sheet. Where'd my sheet go? No, this is not this one here. Is it this one?
It is.
Welcome to the arena. Thank y'all for tuning in. You see my merch.
My phone. Text the address.
Wow. Thank y'all for tuning in.
This is.
I'm thankful for y'all. It's Thankful Thursdays on the podcast. We switched it up. Sunny elevated me a little bit this morning with her sermon. I was like, you know what? You sure right. I'm about to just go
Estimate
live
this is the
on my
Gulf
phone.
Porch.
Raymond Storm hit me up.
3-bedroom, 2.5
Hey,
bath.
it's cold. It's a big ass house. Don't tell nobody. I had to keep it G, man. Let's go walk around this big old home, man. Let's check this mug out.
Okay, guys. My bad. Okay, so this house is a Cleveland model. It is 2,808 square foot. It's a 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath. It is a 2-story, okay? It is a 2-story home, built from $253,999 with an average of $265,000 to $272,000, okay? So let me get over here and get my screen. I'm just taking virtual right here.
Oh, she a beast. I was gonna run around the house.
I don't know. I don't run around the house. Well, I run around the house, but I ain't running around the house, not with no laptop.
Hey, I got the selfie stick on. I'm trying to take it back.
Let me go over here. You guys make sure you get in contact with Kyle if you have any questions. We want to make sure that you get them answered. It is so, so important that you understand what to do to get qualified, right? Accept. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we are here. I want to thank Kyle Roberson for being a part of the team. And I definitely want to thank Elevated Thoughts for being with me. This is the front door of the house, right there, okay? Right here is the living area. Very nice. That very well used as an office. I'll just back up here, you can kind of see the signature. I love that piece right there, the overview and all that. As you walk in from the front door, you see all the windows there, and the window there. Vaulted ceiling, okay? It's high there. This is going to be the garage area. This will be the garage, okay? And with the garage, you'll have a door right here, okay? Right here where this door is, okay? So this is the office. This is the office that's right here, okay? Hey, come on with me, y'all. And this is a bathroom here. This is what we call a powder room. It's called a powder room, okay? Where it has a stool and a toilet in it. That's it. Then you have a closet that has a see-through door. Love that. Okay. A lot of the DR Horton homes are now starting to come with the sprinkler system, fencing, and full sod. As you can see, the kitchen. Somebody said this really should be a commercial. That is funny. So you're looking at the kitchen here, gas, range, pantry. Most of DR Horton homes are energy efficient. So they have you can have an option of a storm shelter. You can see our area where we were doing the podcast. Some people think it's a lot to it. It's really not. Let me know if podcasting is something of your interest. And so that was the dining area and the kitchen. We're now in the living area. Okay. It is a little over 2,800 square foot, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, 2,800 square foot. It is a 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath. It does have a fireplace, as you can see there. Hey. There are several different homes from DR Horton that are finished. Okay. Very nice open. I'm gonna take you to the master room. Oopsie. The master bedroom is back this direction here. I love the actual entryway. I like to call it the entry suite to the master room. Okay. And here's your master bedroom. Right here. Very nicely staged. Okay. And of course, we call this a split plan. Most people love to have a split plan. What do I mean by a split plan? Well, that means your master bedroom is on one side of the house or the upstairs, and all the other rooms are upstairs or on the other side of the house. That's a good thing. You know what I'm saying? So we'll go upstairs and show you the upstairs, which has that should have the bonus room up there. So this is a very nice kitchen, very nice open plan. Let's try these stairs real quick. I'm ready for it. I had my walk this morning. Thank you, Rocky. Okay, so up here has the other 2 bedrooms and a bonus room. I love this layout. Almost like kids up here. Okay. Now, as you can see, when you're working with a builder, that's what we are looking for. So over here, yeah. So here's the 3 bedrooms up here. And then say you need to go home. I want to show you this is the little piece that's over. That's the front door right there. That's the front door right there. So we'll go back downstairs and kind of get finished up, and we'll get you guys on off of here. I truly have hoped you enjoyed your segment today of getting real estate tips with your unique home. And we're back here. And so I just want to make sure that you know how you can get in contact with us, how you can take advantage of being a homeowner. I don't want to hear the stinking thinking of, oh my gosh, she just showed me a $300,000 house and I can't afford that. That's not what this is all about. What it's all about is planting the seed to show that you can even have home ownership. But I need you to get your stinking thinking. I need you to think about what we need to do to get you to get that to that price point. Now, if your credit and income does not allow it, that is perfectly fine, okay? That is perfectly fine. But in the end, we want to make sure that you know that you can have keys to a unique home. And whether it's a brand new build, there are builders that I work with that are selling homes in the 180 price point. So if you feel like 250, 300,000 is out of your league, that's perfectly fine. We do have some builders that build about a 180 price point. So all I'm saying is let me get with you and educate with you, work with you, and show you what you need to do. That's the most important step that you could ever take, okay? So that is my time for today. I so appreciate you guys tuning in. Raquel, always my ride or die queen. Thank you so much. My politically vegan chef, Raquel Rogers, Felisa Cargill, thank you for tuning in. I said Raquel Rogers. Raquel, you know who I'm talking about. And Felice, you know who I'm talking about. They're my queens. And we're going to be on here next Thursday. Stay tuned, as Felisa Cargill is going to be cooking up some stuff in the kitchen from a vegan standpoint. And then we'll have Raquel introducing and talking about some more herbs. So don't miss out. Please tune in every Thursday at 2 p.m. as I'm helping to elevate your thoughts. I like that.
Hey, I love it. I love it. I love it.
So be sure to catch this podcast premiering on the Kickback. I'm super, super, super duper excited that you're going to catch this on the Kickback. Okay, make sure I got my screen where it pull up. So the actual dates is going to be this Saturday, which will be the 30th. Okay. And then next Tuesday and Thursday, those dates are not correct. Thought I had that changed and it did not. And so this was getting your real estate tips with your unique home straight from Sunni Pouncil. So just make sure that next time you tune in, it will be with myself and Raquel and Felice Cargill, as we're going to be talking about experiencing a green lifestyle with getting your family's health, resetting your family's health. So that's my time for today. I appreciate you guys. Y'all have a good weekend, and we will see you right back here next Thursday. Tonight at 9 on the Kickback, catch the premiere that I showed with you last week of how you can get your credits sunny side up with Jonathan Robinson. That's tonight on the Kickback at 9 p.m. You don't want to miss that. That brother shared some nuggets too on credits. So we will see you then. Talk to you later.
Peace. Thank y'all for tuning in.
Yes, absolutely. Thankful Thursday. I thank you for tuning in.
Thank you for that.
Love you guys.